I love the live and the chug. We're live, J-Bud.
That's how I start all my shows. Okay. But it's usually water.
Not tonight. You need it after that main event, J-Bud.
Oh yeah. One too many V triggers. It is the simulcast, folks. We got Smash This Podcast on the YouTube and on TNI. It's the YouTube and the Twitch. It is myself, Jebon. We've got Alicia and we got Front Row Bill. This is the crew tonight. For those of you who were not here for the watch along, I'll repeat it. Well, Mark was having issues, so he didn't watch the show. He's hoping to watch the repeat afterwards. Trent is all wrestled out for the night. He was up till the wee hours of the morning, with I'm assuming the after party for AAW in Chicago. They had a wonderful show, folks. If you did not watch it, please. It's $12, and they had what I think will go down as one of the best indie shows of the year. Just phenomenal. And I'm not just saying that because of the Impact talent that was on it, because I am a little biased. But no, this was downright amazing. It was a barn burner of a show.
Well, it's been a bangorama.
Yeah, that too. And I'll be covering the review for that sometime tomorrow. And then we also have the Sunday dinner, the Patreon exclusive Sunday dinner. So we are here to talk about everything that went down at Against All Odds. Well, I know how Bill feels. I want to get Alicia's initial reaction from the show, not just the ending, but the whole show, top to bottom in general. What did you think?
It was a roller coaster of emotions. I liked it overall. I thought it was really entertaining. Maybe not their strongest, but I liked it.
Yeah, I felt like the card really was solid going into it. Mm-hmm. And I know that the ending was... The last match did feel weird because it wasn't in the atmosphere that we're used to seeing everything in lately. So yeah, that was. I mean, there were pros to cons, pros and cons to it.
Absolutely.
Bill, I know you weren't ecstatic about the main event, but the whole show overall, what did you think?
Well, I thought the rest of the card, if you want to call it the undercard, was well done. I have no issues with that. I thought there were some good matches. Deonna looked very strong in her reign. But we'll go over the matches in more detail. But I think that was a good telling of the story. That we started off with the Sami tag match. I think that obviously plays into the main event. Everything else made a lot of sense. As soon as they went to Jacksonville, though, it kind of went off the rails for me. A lot like this. Oh my gosh! What's this main event? What are they doing? Oh my goodness! Could it be any more dusty? Please,
be triggered!
Why?
So many V triggers off a cliff. Yeah, and I'm sure some people popped for the Young Bucks. I popped for the Young Bucks. I've been waiting for that to happen. That was just a matter of time before the classic Generation Me showed up in the Impact Zone. This wasn't exactly the Impact Zone
if
tonight.
If Scott had thrown a little Generation Me dig in there, that would have been very well done. If he would have went like, "Why are Max and Jeremy doing here?" Like if he did something like that, that would have been pretty good. But
I'm pretty sure it's incoming. It's incoming.
Yeah. So now I was from Thursday. I was like, oh, I hope they don't have the wrestlers be the fans. So when they first went there and they did that, I was close. I was close to be like, I'm out. But at least it wasn't the usual cast of characters like Billy Gunn's kids and all that all try to get himself over. So I was glad about that. It was unknown wrestling students, I guess. So for the most part, but still, they don't know how to act as fans. Still, that's the difference between wrestlers and fans. Wrestlers have no clue what to do out there. Just because they put you cheer on this side and you boo on this side, that doesn't help. That never has worked for AEW. But once again, that's just a little critique there. But we'll get in. We'll go over more details of the main event as we get through the show.
Yeah. All right. So there was no pre-show, so this just goes right into the main card here. We start out here with Callahan and Dreamer. There were some people that we weren't sure if Dreamer was going to make it to the show because we thought it would have been a perfect opportunity for a little surprise. But we did get Dreamer, the classic odd couple, if you will, Callahan and Dreamer versus the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson. Alicia, let's go to you first. Your thoughts on the match here?
I liked it. Of course, I am a big mark for Tommy Dreamer, much to everyone's maybe whatever. I don't know. Lately, it seems like people don't seem as enthusiastic as when Tommy pops into an event. But I was happy to see him. It's been a while. I think we can.
It has been a while.
Slide.
Cool. Bill?
Well, this one, I think I was with some others because of just how Tommy got inserted into this match by inserting himself into it.
I was going to say inserting himself.
And then God pretty much saying you just inserted yourself into this and you're not respecting your boss. I thought there was and the whole Good Brothers are putting a hit out, like Don's getting the Good Brothers to put a hit out. I thought that just was asking for Tommy to get taken out pre-match. That didn't happen, but that would have been maybe too predictable. So him actually being in the match, not as much so. And then not only that, he's on the winning team. He doesn't get the pin, which Sami, as already being in the Slammiversary main event, had to get the win here over the Good Brothers. So that made sense. But like I said, if during the watch along, with the reaction show, if Tommy would have actually got the pin, I think there would have been a meltdown on Twitter tonight. If Tommy Dreamer got a pin tonight, but overall decent, like Tommy Dreamer style, Sami style match. Mm-hmm. So I think that's about as best that could be expected from that. And it was first, which made you kind of knew something was going to happen later because it was first.
Yeah, go ahead, Alicia.
I was just going to say that I thought it was interesting that the Good Brothers were handed another loss.
Yeah, and there's... They don't have to win all the time.
Right, right. I just feel like they haven't won in a while.
Well,
am I wrong? I got to look up.
Well, they lost the titles, and then they got the rematch. They had to wait for the rematch. Mm-hmm. And now it drops them back down to, 0 because then VBD just came in and, cashed in the cup. Right. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it does. Anytime, I mean, as long as Kenny's around Impact, then you're going to see a lot more push of these guys. You'll see them a lot more on TV. So even if Kenny's there, they don't have to win all the time. But I guarantee you, as soon as Kenny's gone, they're going to go back on a winning streak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
That's what it feels like, anyways. So yeah, we'll see. I enjoyed this. I mean, I'm glad Callahan got the win here. I mean, he literally just got put in the main event of Slammiversary.
Via DQ.
But he beat the number one contender.
Via DQ.
Bill's not gonna go away for the via DQ. Although now, I mean, I know I'm jumping ahead here. It does seem like Callahan is on the unemployment line, unfortunately.
Oh,
We'll get into that. But for now, at this part of the pay-per-view, he's still employed. He gets the win.
yeah, it's until later.
It ain't no secret. I need a job.
That was well placed. That was well placed. So yeah, Callahan Dreamer get the win. It was a fun, and they had some hardcore stuff in there too. Then we get Kojima versus Doering. To me, this felt a little early for this match, but I mean, it's like whatever. This one I know we were really excited for, just because this was 10 years in the making. I feel like our crew was a little more excited for it because we watched the classic match that was 10 years old pretty recently, so we kind of knew what was coming, even though it was felt like a lifetime ago. So yeah, and if you haven't watched it, please go look it up. It is worth watching. It's a lot of fun to see Joe Doering from like 10 years ago.
Unrecognizable.
Yeah, totally. He's got a spike blonde hairdo. It's crazy.
Don't forget the red stripe in the back.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
puts it
that's
all
right.
together.
Yeah, he looks
hard
more
out,
like
Terry Taylor.
he looks more like Heidenreich than Joe Doering.
Yeah,
right now.
exactly.
If anybody remembers that one, gold star for you. So Bill, what'd you think of Kojima versus Doering?
Well, I think you're right. As in, maybe we had the highest expectations of this match among everybody, because I don't think you're going to find a podcast that's more fans of Joe Doering than this one. And Kojima
or
bakes
parts of his
bread
body
and gives stiff lariats. Can't argue with someone that does that.
No,
But Joe Doering, once again, like, and this one, I know going into it, it was like, oh man, Kojima could win this match. It's like the New Japan relationship. Maybe he stays beyond this. Who knows? But Joe Doering, he's part of the VBD. He's a tag champ right now. And when they've given it to him to be solo, he's a monster out there. And he continues to look that way after this match. That finisher he pulls off where he got him up and swung him all around, and that's a big boy. Kojima's not a little guy. It's a big boy there. So Doering just showed his strength as one of these monsters that Impact's now full of, these huge guys. That
it's great.
The complete opposite of what like an AEW is. They just have monsters throughout this roster, and it looks like there's 4 or 5 guys that would dwarf almost anybody in any wrestling company right now.
Yeah, well, and Impact's roster is significantly smaller too. So even if we have a few monsters, it feels like we have a ton of them, But yeah, this was a lot of fun. I knew it was going to be slow. I knew it was going to be hard hitting. Kojima looked great. I mean, God, what is he? He's in his 50s.
Yeah, something like that.
Guys,
hell, doesn't look it.
No,
yeah, he does not look it. They're like, that's. I'll tell you, man. Some of those guys, they really can keep themselves together, and he's like, he can probably do that just like Muda's been doing it forever too. Like, he's a guy that's probably going to do this for at least a handful of more years. Probably, he ain't going away.
Could be, and he's another guy that's on that preview for Slammiversary too. Elisa, any highlights from this for you?
Other than the fact that I was just really mesmerized by this match, because the way that these two guys moved seemed kind of flawless almost, and then, you get that good taste of that strong style where it's like I felt in my teeth some of the hits these guys were laying on each other. I really like that. That was great. Very entertaining.
Yeah, if you know what you're getting, I mean, you're not going to get what you got in the next match. This is a very different style match. It's slow, and they break it down. They pace themselves because it is so hard hitting. And this one was a lot of fun. Joe Doering comes off with a win here, and I mean, if he didn't win, you could have went anywhere with this. You could have went with Eddie Edwards and Kojima for the tag titles, maybe between here and Slammiversary. But my guess is this might be it for Kojima. I don't know. I hope he sticks around till Slammiversary, but we'll see.
Yeah. The only thing we know is how EY reacted after this match.
Proud as a peacock.
This is true. This is true. Yeah. And it was a big night for Violent by Design.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I know everyone kind of was like, oh man, early on, but they're getting there. And I know maybe not tonight, but Decay, like even if not winning, they're right there too. So
yeah.
The stables, if you will.
It's all coming together nicely.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Then next we get a bangorama of a match. It's the number one contender for the X Division Championship. Josh Alexander gets a night off. He's got to rest. After having a match of the night last night, he absolutely deserved a night off, and plus he was all beat up from that Iron Man match he had with TJP. So he deserved the night off. We get Ace Austin versus Chris Bay versus Rohit Raju versus Petey Williams versus Trey Miguel. I gotta say right off the bat, I absolutely love this match. The end, I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that none of us were fans of the ending, but for storytelling purposes, it just
we understand.
Yeah, because it's a perfect opportunity to bring all these guys back who were screwed out of this. It's not just one person. No, all 5 of these guys were screwed, including Ace, who's supposed to be the wrangler of Fulton. It could lead to something bigger and better at Slammiversary. But Alicia, what'd you think of this?
First of all, I just want to say, can we get a round of applause of how electric our X Division is? Is just every time these guys get in the ring with each other, it's just, I don't know, man. Poetry in motion, I guess, would be the best way to explain it. Is they all just work really well with each other, and they make each other's moves look dope as hell. I love it. It was great. It was a very awesome match. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time, like who's gonna nail this? Despite the ending, it was really awesome.
Yeah. By the way, whose shirt are you sporting in the background there?
Back here is an old school Crazy Steve.
Yeah, it is Crazy Steve.
A classic Steve shirt. I believe that's off Pro Wrestling Tees.
With Kevin the Monkey.
Kevin the Monkey. Yeah, Kevin the Monkey is holding a little mini Steve, riding a trachea with some balloons. Oh, no, there's no trachea. It's just balloons.
Oh, yeah, because if it was trachea with balloons, that would be the menagerie, Steve.
The menagerie, yeah.
Yeah, more the...
He's got the look, and he's holding the little balloons, and it says all the answers. One of his, first run t-shirts, something like that.
Oh, that's interesting.
I've had it since, 2015, something like that.
Oh, it looks great. All right, so, Bill, your thoughts on the number one contender match?
Well, once again, these guys all go great together. X Division, it's back. It's back with a vengeance. But we kind of saw the ending. But before, I think Rohit would even agree with his finish, which we'll discuss a little more in depth. But
turn that frown upside down, my man.
I think we said it in the reaction show, and Mir's saying it here as well. I think that's what it's lining up to. There was the promo cut by Josh Alexander after the Iron Man match, referring to King of the Mountain multiple times.
Yes.
Then you have this. You think there could be an Ultimate X in the future, but King of the Mountain X Division Championship, that sounds really good as well. We know they have the cage from No Place Like Home, or they could set it up to be the opener for Slammiversary, an Ultimate X match. They've done that before. They did that in Homecoming last time they were in Nashville, so they could bring it back. I think you're going to get some type of stipulation match for this, but I haven't seen him yet. I'm hoping he pops in I know it's the weekend. I don't know if there's a show going on with OVW or anything, but if Ref Daniel Spencer's around, we need answers from Ref Daniel Spencer. I know at times Uncle Mark has been tough on Daniel, and I'm always like that. He's doing a bang up job there. You don't notice him. You don't. Perfect. Yeah. But in this match, even the commentary highlights no DQ, which is always the case in a multi-man match like this. Even though we get the involvement from Madman Fulton for that revenge on that Ultimate Destroyer, and he does some impressive stuff on his own when he picks up everybody, to call it a no contest.
Oh, well, there you go. He's here.
All right. Now, Daniel
That's
Spencer.
explaining to do.
Do you want the link? Do you want to hop in here and just go, or you can do it if you want. You can do it in chat. Give us the answer to the reasoning of the no contest, because even the multi-man match, we believe there's no DQ. The commentary said no DQ. There's the involvement, which you didn't DQ. You no contested it, and we just want to get a little more information on why it was a no contest.
You got some splaining to do, Lucy.
You're welcome to, if you want, you can hop in and do it if you like, or you can do it here, because I know we're just jumping this on you right now. But any more clarification on that would be appreciated.
But and while we're waiting for that, I'll throw my 2 cents in. But yeah, it was great, and I gotta say, man, how good does Petey Williams look right now? My God, he does.
It looked like he was, when you guys were saying, well, who do you think could win? Well, obviously, none of them did. But it seemed like
no
you guys were both going Chris Bay. Makes a lot of sense. Trey, I think it would make a lot of sense. But it seemed like even Petey Williams was like the dark horse in that match. It felt like Petey Williams has been really ramped up lately. So that would not have been surprising either. But it gives them all a case. Like, they obviously Ace. I think it's because Iceman's saying he's got Hollywood big feature films in his future, and he still has the cup. So it's like Ace doesn't need to win, but he's Ace Austin too. And then obviously friend of the show, Rohit. Can't. He's always a contender.
Yeah. So while we're waiting on Daniel Spencer here, we'll see what his response.
He's getting displayed and ready.
Notes app.
We're putting the ref on the spot.
He's gonna go to the Impact rule book that Scott references in the main event and be like, Rule 14B subsection 2 says,
okay, here we
no
go.
Contest.
Says there is no DQ, and I didn't DQ when Fulton entered. Look, Fulton destroyed the entire group and then put Ace on top of the guys. It didn't seem fair outcome over a definitive winner
or a number one contender. So that's the thing. He used the referee discretion, which we know there's latitude according to Scott DeBoer. I said it wasn't a DQ. It wasn't a DQ. So technically it can happen. So he said it's a no contest because multiple people were out. They were
too many. Okay.
Yeah.
I get it. I thought that's where you would go. That's the explanation you can do.
We'll allow it.
Yeah. Because if you can't even raise a guy's hand because he's, getting put on a stretcher,
Say this. If this was at Slammiversary with a crowd, I don't think you get away with that decision, Daniel Spencer. No, I think you're getting a 5 more minutes or a restart the match. That's what I think.
Or you're getting a crowd with pitchforks and torches. So okay, we'll as Susan would say, we'll tolerate it.
Yeah, and as Buckshot's saying here, that's kind of how he ended it, because it's realistic. Multiple people would not have gotten up in 10 seconds.
Yeah, this is true.
So there you go.
Especially after a crime scene like that from Madman Fulton. It's
crime scene.
Bodies everywhere.
A pile up.
Right. It's a pile up in the impact zone. All right. So Fulton causes the no contest. Thank you, Daniel Spencer, for giving us that. I appreciate that. We all do. Next, we've got Morrissey versus Swann. This one was going to be very interesting because, number one, I feel like there's been some hints at someone possibly joining Morrissey soon. I think we still could get that, but they haven't gone above and beyond to do that, so that's good. I also thought that we could get Willie Mack possibly at ringside, but we didn't. This was 1v1, so I give them both credit for doing what they did in the ring here, especially Swann. My God. I thought we were going to get the bloody drooling Swann there for a while.
Like went any longer, it might have.
Yeah, right. But so Morrissey gets the win here, but just they are absolutely building a monster here.
Yes, they are.
Yes.
They laughed, and they laughed, and they laughed, and they laughed.
Oh, they're not laughing anymore. They're not laughing anymore.
I gotta say, in regards to this, is that I think it was a good choice for them to pair Rich Swann against him, because who better to really put across the articulate nature of needing to make this man a monster, and it's Rich Swann. You know what I mean?
He's a former champ.
Yeah. Well, also, I'm just saying is that his ability to sell what he needs to sell is just outstanding. I don't feel not very many people rival Rich Swann in that aspect. I feel like,
yeah,
he makes people look amazing.
Yeah, one of if not the best worker in the company.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
He's got charisma.
Oh, that too. Yeah, charisma for miles.
Well, you see that charisma when he gives him the, as we like to call it, the Scott Steiner before the ending. And for all those audio listeners, that's The Bird by Scott Steiner, which Rich Swann gives him as he's getting the beat or the snot kicked out of him, shall we say.
Yeah.
But once again, it just shows that, and remember, this is a guy, Rich Swann, world champion, lost to Kenny Omega, beat Moose, W. Morrissey. I've already been saying this guy's got the rocket strapped to him. Look out, world title picture. He has a claim right now. He beat the former world champion. Mm-hmm. This could be a lot sooner than we all expect.
Yeah.
That he could be really in the main event picture.
Seems that way.
Yeah, it's hard to tell how fast this is moving, but obviously Morrissey is there for championships. And I've said this once, I'll say it a million times. It's a redemption story for Morrissey. And so far, I'm absolutely loving what they're doing with him. He's in tremendous shape. His promos have been solid, if not better. And his in-ring stuff, he's connecting with these guys. He's working with a tremendous roster of guys. And he's they're getting his point across,
Yeah. Unlike those other guys.
It's like, I'm going to be nice to your face, and then I'll go bury you behind your back.
Jeez. But yeah, it's so far so good for Morrissey. He is a monster on the move, on a mission, and he puts away Swann. It's going to be very interesting to see what's next for Morrissey on the way to Slammiversary. You got to think there's something big in store for him, coming up.
Is Swann done with him? Do you think he's done with Swann?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, do Swann and Willie Mack keep after him? Because they're both very tough guys, and they're both very goal-oriented guys. Once they got a goal set in mind, they don't stop until they get it. They could both go after him, which could include someone else for Morrissey to bring in. I mean, I'm just fantasy booking here. That would make sense to me beyond that, I don't know what else you would do. I'm very curious. I can't wait to see what they have next for Morrissey. Well, what would you guys do? What would you do with? Would you keep Swann with Morrissey? What would you guys do? I'm just curious before we go to the next match.
Bill, you want to go first?
Yeah, all right. I'd say, and you know me, I'm a big believer in Morrissey, and I almost feel like you got to keep him with Swann maybe and Mac for a bit, because if not, you got to put him in the main event. I don't know if there's a place for him to go other than the main event. So you put him here you keep him in the upper card with Swann, but like maybe you get into something with somebody else after that, but it just feels like too soon. Yeah, maybe Violent by Design, like maybe you get into but then you're definitely teaming him up, and he's been like a lone wolf. That's been the W. Morrissey character.
Yeah.
So it would change a lot to team him up with somebody. They haven't gone that road, so like maybe he deals a little bit longer, maybe up till Slammiversary with Rich and Willie, kind of going back and forth with them. But I don't know, maybe that person's not on the roster yet. His next big feud, because obviously you look at it like Joe Doering, like you think he's going to deal with one of these big guys coming up, like a Moose storyline would make a lot of sense. If for some reason they totally, we'll get into it later, but if they take him out of the main event picture, then that could make sense. But we don't even know what Morrissey is. Like, do you just want to say like an ultimate tweener? Well, he's a bad guy. I'll tell you that.
It's a very bad guy.
But he'll have to deal with this guy.
You got hair on your booty cheeks.
Oh, jeez.
That son of a bitch.
Alicia, what would you do next with these guys?
I think I agree. I think I would keep him in with him for a little while. There's more storytelling that could be done here, and why not? Impact loves a slow burn.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah, and they had a good match. I don't think that's anything they really want to get away from. But honestly, like Morrissey, he main evented Thursday to go the go home show, and then he had a great match with Swann here. It's just I don't know what you do with him if you're not going to elevate him going for titles pretty soon. He's just a monster. Like, I don't know who stops him right now.
Yeah, he certainly does look unstoppable.
The dude wears
tough.
jeans.
He's yeah.
He's a badass that just wears jeans.
He goes shopping. I hear he goes shopping with Joe Doering.
They probably go to the same store.
Matching fur coats.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, we need it. That'd be great.
And honestly, Buckshot may have hit it here because it almost seems like it. 2-on-1 handicap.
Oh, jeez.
And that's believable that he could win. He's booked so strong.
Yeah. And honestly, if that's how you book a Slammiversary match with those two versus Morrissey, and if Willie Mack and Swann finally go over, it's not going to hurt Morrissey.
Yeah, because
at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
You got to let the good guys win once in a while. But I do like the momentum behind Morrissey. So it'll be interesting to see what's next. All right, then we've got Tenille Dashwood versus Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace just really trying to get something going here again. She's been in a pretty rough streak.
A little bit of a slump.
What's that?
A little bit of a slump.
Oh, just a little. Just a little.
A touch.
Yeah. And especially against someone like Tenille, who's just, hopping from partner to partner and situation to situation. And of course, behind all this, you've got Jordynne Grace's relationship with Rachel Ellering, which is also interesting. Alicia, what'd you think of this match?
I thought this was a good match. It was a good showing for Tenille against Jordynne. I was a little surprised with Jordynne losing on this one, but corresponding with its storyline, it makes a lot of sense and further proves that I think that Jordynne is losing her grasp on things.
She is. She's unraveling, and it just throws everything else into flux. You know, her relationship with Rachel Ellering, her future in the Knockouts division. What's next for her is,
she's paranoid, and it's playing out. Absolutely. Yeah. And we got a further taste of that tonight with her breakdown after the match with Ellering. Whereas doesn't Trent keep saying that he thinks it's Ellering playing mind games or something?
Well, when we're talking about Trent, we know the truth about Trent. With this whole Ellering heel angle, he's just been...
This is the good stuff.
Right? Bill, your thoughts on this?
Good match, good storytelling. The evolution of Tenille, this character, where I know, not me, but a lot of people were like, what do you do with Tenille? It wasn't working. She found her groove. The All About Me, the TV show, teaming up with Kaleb with a K, all's working for her right now. Her character has come into focus. Perfect knockout right now for the division, for this type of character. Because really, you want to say filling a little bit of the void of Taya with that type of character. I think she's doing a good job. Good talking, heelish, but likable in a way. So I think that's perfect. And then you just see the Jordynne. Now, I know Trent, because maybe it's so obvious. Oh, there it is. This guy. It's like 5 a.m. But it's wrestling 101 that Jordynne Grace is turning heel right now. If it wasn't after this match, Rachel Ellering is still like, she's practically Kylie Ray out there trying to cheer her up. It's not working. But I do not see anything other than a Jordynne Grace. Like, Jordynne Grace should be heel at Slammiversary.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I'm on the fence with that. I can see both sides of it. I mean, the unraveling
are you saying Rachel Ellering a heel? Are you seeing a side of that, J-Bone? Or are you talking about something else?
Yeah, because the way Rachel keeps talking to Jordynne Grace is way too bubblegummy.
It's very bubblegummy. That's her character.
Yeah.
You're not buying it.
No, I'm not.
Ooh.
That's why I could see Trent's side in this. But I also, with the unraveling of Jordynne Grace, she's getting more and more upset. She's going to blow her top pretty soon. And what's going to happen with that? What is the unraveling going to lead to?
We will never be friends.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I can see it going both ways. It's hard for me to pinpoint exactly what's going to happen, but that's good. That's good. I don't want Impact Wrestling to always be. I mean, some stuff is you can just predict it. Some stuff is you can kind of tell what's going to happen. This one, I'm not so sure. So I'm digging this. So
I do get the little sliver of it because it just feels so obvious, the heel turn.
Yeah.
Like, it's such paint by numbers with the heel turn. It's like if you looked up how to turn a face heel, they're going by the book. It's like, oh, you lose. Like, if she was a male wrestler, she'd grow a beard because it's so obvious. Because, if you have a beard, you've gone heel.
Or change the color of your beard, like Hogan.
There you go. You get that shadow because it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
That's right. So, but yeah, good match, and I do want to put Tenille over here. She did look great in this match with Jordynne Grace. Then again,
Absolutely.
I've never seen Jordynne have a bad match. And I've been critical of Tenille, but it seems like, yeah, critical. It does seem like everything's working pretty smoothly for Tenille lately, so that's good. That's good. Things are starting to get in the groove for her. So, as the classic song goes, but yeah, Tenille gets the win here. It'll be interesting to see where both of these go from here on the road to Slammiversary. Next, we get the Knockouts tag titles on the line. The Fire and Flava defending against what I'll call a bit of an odd couple, Susan and Kimber Lee. I want to go to Alicia first for this one. Your thoughts on this one?
Again, another awesome Tasha and Kiera match. Susan and Kimber really showed out, but unfortunately, they could not conquer the Fire and Flavor Fest.
Well, and there were no shoes thrown.
No
heels.
No heels. But it is good. Like, I'm glad we're getting a more established tag team out of the team that is Susan, Kimber, and Deonna. It's good for everybody all around to start forming more tag teams in our division. So,
yeah. And I gotta say, I was shocked we did not get any supernatural shenanigans. I really felt like we were gonna get like an Aliens moment, and Su Yung was literally gonna bust out of, well, not actually.
I have the runs.
Something like that.
Like a face hugger.
Yeah. I really felt like Su Yung was going to make her presence known tonight just because.
Hey, she even kept all of her buttons.
Yeah.
This is true. This is true. And no shoe throwing. I mean, wow. It's just I really.
Well, you knew Sue was serious. Susan was serious with the kicks she had on tonight. That's her. I'm a serious wrestler shoes.
Trust me, I'm Susan.
Yeah. Trust me.
Yeah.
But I and Flava did not think as much of that.
No, and I want to say that Tasha Steelz, and this isn't knocking. I said this during the I said this during the watch long, and I don't want this inferred as in I'm knocking Kiera Hogan.
Whose uncle is this? If the 80s don't come back and get their uncle for real.
Oh man, it's rough. It's a rough crowd. I really feel like Tasha Steelz is standing out here. She's absolutely shining. If you aren't sold on the chemistry and the position that this tag team is put in here, I don't know what to tell you, because Tasha Steelz especially. I mean, Kiera Hogan has been good. And it just feels to me like Tasha Steelz has really risen above everything. And in my professional podcasting opinion, she, within the next several months, is going to be a contender for the Knockouts Championship.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sure if Mark was here, he would also agree. Is he in the chat?
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's watching the show right now.
I
and
feel
you know
like
we should address that probably pretty soon, J-Bone, because we didn't yet.
Yeah, he was having all sorts of issues.
He wasn't the only one.
Mm.
No, it seemed like there was a few people out there had issues trying to watch the show. I mean, Alicia's even cut out early. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Which thankfully she didn't miss too much, but
right.
But yeah, it's that is upsetting. If you don't get in there early, man, yeah, I hear it's rough getting in there after it started. I don't know why.
I didn't tune in until maybe 10 minutes after the show started. and I didn't have any issues, but I went right through the fight. I don't know. Maybe it could be internet connection, all kinds of stuff. I don't know. Internet's weird, tricky, something I don't understand.
Yeah.
Well,
could be.
It seems like some people that work for Impact may not understand it either.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't know. I feel like if it's something to do with an app, it's got to be some kind of internet thing. I wonder what the tech issue is.
Bandwidth. Need more bandwidth.
Something. Just a better site in general. It felt like they were really upgrading everything, and then maybe it wasn't. But Bill, your thoughts on this match?
Oh, you never can go wrong with the Fi and the Flava. They've been knocking it out of the park as champs. So not surprised here. I would say going into this match, this was the one match where I'm like, no chance for Kimber and Susan, sadly. So she might tell my manager, but it was not looking good for them from the get-go. But decent match. I'm with you that as we were talking during the show, if you look at tag teams, you always have a workhorse and you have maybe the talker of a team. And that's what they've developed in with Tasha being kind of the workhorse in the team in wrestling. Which makes sense. I think a lot of people don't know it. Tasha's a ring veteran. She has a lot more of experience than Kiera. It's like she's been working. She's trained, right? Like she has a long history. Like on the indies, especially in the Northeast, I think she's like a dream match with a lot of the workers. So I see that possibly. I think you're right, J-Bone. I could see her entering the fray for that. Kiera, we know she's going to have a big future and Impact regardless. She'll probably win multiple knockout titles herself. But I think Tasha probably at some point will go on her own, and this is really developing her, just like Josh Alexander did with the North. I could see a very similar breakout from her at some point.
Yeah. Both of them, yeah.
Although Susan, we got to acknowledge that Susan has great lines, and I know our good friend Lakers put it up backstage before this match. Susan said after the match they will be known as burnt and bland. Fantastic line. Trust her. She is Susan.
Yeah, burnt and bland. I was like, wait, what is that? Oh man, and that also has to do with the promo leading into this. She was just like, I really felt like we were going to get some kind of Su Yung presence here, because I felt like something was just going to bust out of Susan because she's just unraveling. But she kept it together here. Mm-hmm. I mean, not enough for a win, but she looked pretty good.
The matches. Because remember, Susan's still learning. It's a very similar to like Allie back in the day when she was learning how to wrestle. Susan's kind of learning how to wrestle in there a lot of the time. But it feels, I don't know when they're going to pull that trigger. And it might not be Sue. It might not be Susie. It might be a fourth character. Because we know she's got them, man. She's got them. And they all have a different personality. It would not shock me if we see another. I still want to see, we saw the tease on stage between Susie and Sue, where they were both there at the same time.
Yeah.
I still want to see like maybe all three of them on the stage at the same time, a match between two of them. I feel they have still a lot they can do with these multiple characters, and I'd love to see them explored. Now, obviously, you're getting into a lot of, like, you're not going to have your typical match. You're going to go cinematic with stuff like that, but I think it would be fantastic.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, Zach Bonifer with the Suzette. There you go. There it is.
Suzette, Susanna.
Susanna.
Susie Q. Who knows? You go in many directions.
Oh, goodness. The options. Yeah, don't give her any ideas. Who knows what we'll get. I'm terrified. I still want the original back, though. Sue Yung.
At some point you will, although it is interesting that she's still Sue Yung a lot on the indies. I saw her for the Lariato show, what Rich is also on. She's advertised as Susie for that show. So it's nice. It's almost like, is she just like, yeah, I'll do Susie today. I'll do
That's cool.
Susan this weekend.
Yeah,
I don't think Susan's really been on the indies. And you got to remember, like Susan almost is like an Impact only personality because remember, for an indie show, she's not a good wrestler. Like that's not her thing, is being really a good wrestler.
Right,
but she's a great character.
Oh yeah, she's amazing. Yeah, so Fire and Flavor, Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz retain here.
Well, just saying that, who do you think could dethrone them? Someone on the roster or someone not on the roster?
Well, they still need more tag teams. And I feel like we're going to get some more very soon, sooner rather than later.
Maybe a tag team that's in the Slammiversary commercial?
Oh, yeah. That's absolutely an option. And we might even get more than that. Who knows? We'll probably get some surprises. You know, ones that we're not even expecting. I can't wait to see who shows up.
Mm.
You know, I really wanted the Sea Stars back, but it looks like they're staying in AEW. But I wouldn't count them out completely.
Yeah,
you know.
And if we're going to go internal, I think there's only one option. After this past Thursday, Rosemary and Havoc.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I think that'll absolutely help Rosemary because especially after a loss to Deonna Purrazzo, they'll want to get some reinforcements, you know. So we'll see. But all right, so next we got Decay. We get 2 Decay matches in a row. We get VBD defending the tag team championships against Decay. VBD represented by Rhino and Diener because Doering already had a match. So it makes sense that on the website they've got just the logo Violent by Design up there as who are the champs, because it just represents, you never know who's gonna, you know, defend.
Right.
So it's not just Doering and Rhino as much as I was enjoying that picture of them together. So who knows? We should just get a group pick instead of the logo. That'd be cool.
Yeah, and I know we talked about this the other day. Is I guess they now obviously, if it wasn't before, I think they recognized Cody as a champion as soon as he was booked in this match. Obviously, he defended it, so he's obviously a tag team champion. Joe and Rhino won them; they're tag team champions. Is EY currently a tag team champion?
Yes, that's why it's that's why they just put the logo there on the site.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole Freebird rule is sometimes a little convoluted, but it does make for an intriguing matchups. You get to change things on the fly, which is nice.
I mean, is he safe to work right now? Is he, you know, cleared? No, but that doesn't mean.
I think I heard somewhere, and it might have been via him, was September, October, which lines up right, obviously, with Bound for Glory.
And the summer, there you go.
Well, or hey, red herring, maybe he comes in next week. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know. You never know what that. He's very capable. I mean, he has. That's one thing about Eric Young, and he hasn't. I mean, he's probably been banged up in his career, but he's never really been injured.
You're right. Oreo agrees.
Yeah, Oreo's just having a ball tonight. She's actually been very good tonight. She was curled up in a ball on top of my tower next to me for most of the show here, but now she's got to come in here and she's got to say hello. Come here.
Yeah, if we don't have our visits from a cat.
There she is.
So cute. Her nose looks like a little heart.
Yeah, that's one of her.
Adorable.
That's one of the traits that we love about her is she's got the little heart. When she was a lot smaller, it was even more prominent. Yeah, it was.
You know what we like to say here, TNI and Smash's podcast: come for the cats, stay for the wrestling.
Yeah, there you go. Because you never know who's gonna come in here. It could be Sami, it could be Oreo, it could be Rocky. You never know. But Oreo's been all about the wrestling lately. She's my little Tenille Dashwood because it's all about her. That's
she just wants to know
which one's Jay.
Oh, I'm her favorite, so she knows who I am. All right. But yeah, Decay. So we got Crazy Steve and Taurus, and she's going after my lollipops. If I toss this, go get it. Go get it.
J-Bone on command.
She's playing fetch, but she doesn't play the other part of it. Crazy Steve and Black Taurus versus Deonna and Rhino. And I'm really happy that Deonna got the win here. I mean, I know some people were predicting like a solid Decay victory across the board.
Right.
But I'm really glad Deonna got the win here because it felt like he was, even though VBD is still, pretty dominant, stable, Deonna's been having a few losses here and there. He lost to Kojima. He lost one or two matches before that. He really needed this. So this was a big test for for Eric Young putting on. I'm saying, okay, you're going to team up with Rhino. You got to keep these. It's all up to you. So for him to get the win here, I felt was great. And it just solidified them even more. What do you guys think?
Bill, you want to go first?
I'd say, obviously violent by design. Now that Deonna, I agree with you. I think Deonna needed to get the win here. Obviously, now they've all kind of played their part. Rhino brought the cup to VBD. Then you had Doering just being a monster in there. And now you had Cody with the, forget Cody. He's not Cody anymore. He's just Deonna. Deonna do the DDT, which I got to say, I love it when what was a finisher is a finisher again. And you look at this, very old school VBD with their finishers because you have the pile driver of Eric Young, the DDT of Deonna, you have the gore of Rhino, and Doering whatever he wants to do to you. So that's perfect. That's very old school, which is the feel of VBD. So I think this was done well. Still, Decay looked good in this. They didn't look bad. Crazy Steve's been looking great lately. Taurus, welcome addition to Decay. I think you're going to still see a change with Decay, though. I feel there is something coming. Obviously, you have the three of them. I don't know if we've officially see Havoc as part of Decay. Maybe another person in Decay. I don't know. We'll see. But I feel that they will grow. I don't think it's just going to – I know it's always been three since they've done it. But I feel maybe it's Violent by Design will grow and Decay will grow with it.
Yeah.
So we could see that.
You need a dueling stable. If you're going to have it, you got to have someone else to be opposition. It's just interesting because would Decay be considered heel or face in this? Because they're kind of like chaotic neutral heels, right?
They usually are, but I think with fans, Rosemary has been over even when she was a heel.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think Decay would automatically just be faces.
Right. Okay.
They come off as tweeners, but in a in an audience, I think there are definitely faces in this feud. Although I'm going to go nuts for Joe Doering wherever he is. So it may look like they're faces as well, but I'm sure he'll come over and like look at me and I'll crumble before him. Because just a look from Joe Doering will knock you out. And that Slowpoke hasn't been here for any of our Joe Doering talk. I am just very sad by this. Hopefully he winds up being there next for Thursday and maybe in the comments. But
there you go.
We know he might be the biggest Joe Doering fan of them all.
Well, I mean, he might have seen him, second match in and fainted for the rest of it.
Good enough. That's Joe Doering. He's the Chuck Norris of wrestlers.
Oh,
just think of all those things. If remember, he went to Chewbacca, and Chewbacca just gave him his fur and said, "I don't need it. You're Joe Doering."
He
make a code out of that.
He just manscaped himself.
Yeah, that's right. Come on, Manscaped. Where are you at? If not, Jaywood's gonna have to answer to Checkers what happened in that parking lot.
Oh no. Let's not go there. Statute of limitations. Alicia, save me here. Talk about this match.
I don't know. Y'all noticed that Diener spent most time in the ring over Rhino?
Yeah.
A lot of time.
And so I don't know. I always tend to read too into things, but what is the significance behind that? Is that because he's handed them a lot of losses that he had to make up for by doing that? You know what I mean? Like, you got to do the grunt work. I'm like, psychologically.
It could be. It felt like this Impact Plus special was almost, I wouldn't call it a reset, but it was looking at a different way for a couple different storylines. Mm-hmm. Like Diener's been losing on Impact on Access TV, but he looks very strong in this tag match. He gets the win. He gets most of the in-ring work. So that's something there, because it feels like that was that happened a couple other times during the show where it was like people that were not on TV maybe doing something looked very good tonight on this pay-per-view. Madman Fulton being a perfect example of that. Yeah. Like he looked like a monster equivalent of almost W. Morrissey tonight. Yeah. And he hasn't done that as much on TV. He hasn't really been on TV as much. So it was an interesting way for them to capitalize on, which I know they knew they were going to get a ton of viewers on the app tonight because of the main event. So it's just interesting how they're maybe turning some storylines around on us or maybe giving some focus to other things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, VBD retains here, and I don't have a clue what's going to come next for them.
Ooh, yeah. Who's the next contenders in the tag division? That's a very good question right now, because there's probably not an obvious tag team number one contender right now. Mm-hmm. So it feels like that's something that's going to have to solidify itself over TV over the next couple weeks. Yeah. Because you're right. Like obviously the Good Brothers lost. I don't see a long-term Sami Tommy Dreamer relationship. That's going to be interesting. They're going to have to start making some inroads with some tag teams.
Well, Sami's busy.
Yeah, if you're going to keep Ace and Madman together, that could be it. Because Madman was dominant tonight. Ace was kind of out of the picture. But it's easy enough. In 1 week, he's strong again because he's Ace. So, but yeah, that's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, if you reconstruct the X Division match and make that, bigger and better, stronger, more insano for the pay-per-view, or do you put Fulton and Ace? I mean, once Ace wakes up, of course, he may not remember anything. And Fulton just goes, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go for the tag titles," and Ace just goes, "Oh okay, whatever." So who knows? Then we get promo number 3 from Macklin. This was a lot of fun. And man, if there isn't some kind of endorsement by Jameson behind this, I don't know what we're going to
I missed this. I didn't get to see it.
Well, it is. I'm sure they've retweeted it, but I believe this is one that he already had on YouTube even before this. So it feels like I guess he put 3 promos out there. So this is the 3rd one to air. So I don't know. Maybe we see Macklin or Mr. Mayhem, as he calls himself, this Thursday. Maybe.
Yeah, we're going to see him absolutely sooner rather than later. I don't think we're going to wait till we're absolutely going to see him before Slammiversary.
Yeah. It feels like the timing was much like Deonna last year. So I honestly,
Yeah.
I think we're seeing him Thursday. I think I'm gonna be surprised if we don't see him Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you, if you could throw him in a feud, what would you do first?
I'm not even sure.
It's a good question. Jacob.
Yeah.
I don't see him in the X division. So, and the X division is very full right now. He's coming in solo. So that's not the tag team division. That's Oreo. But
not Oreo.
So you're looking at a feud, and you wouldn't want to bring him in with somebody that's like a recent debut, like a Morrissey, just for him to run over. That's what they do down south with the TNT title and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We don't book like that at Impact Wrestling. So that's a great question. It's going to be intriguing on how they deal with that. Because now that's where you see, how about this? Well, see, he's hurt. This would seem like you go through a gatekeeper of Impact Wrestling. So who are the gatekeepers of Impact Wrestling? Eddie Edwards may not be available. Eddie Edwards could be a good first feud.
Yeah.
Willie Mack, he also is a good first feud, as we've seen. So I think those guys, maybe Willie, if he's not in something with Morrissey, maybe even in the Rich Swann, because they're like, you want a company guy, I'm thinking, to go through. So we'll kind of see where that goes. But beyond that, I'd have to. I'm thinking through the card and see who else could possibly make sense. But I think we have to see. It's one thing for the promos, which are like EC3. They weren't specific. They were in general what he's going to do. So you could almost go, he could feud with anybody in the roster, really.
Honestly, I think what we're going to get from him is, I think a really easy thing for him to do would be to wait for someone that he used to be tied with in a former tag team. Because that's what we've been getting hints at for Slammiversary, is we've been getting those little flashes of the forgotten.
So like maybe he beats up, like, for instance, Suicide and a couple, maybe the Winker people, like, well, like you're saying, like maybe, hey, maybe that's Sam Beal's first match in a while.
Or he starts slowly stalking some faction or some tag team, and it's just little subtle things, like he just all of a sudden shows up during promo time, like, want to introduce myself, and it doesn't really pick an opponent, just putting the feelers out there.
Yeah, like he could do something with Violent by Design, because remember, W. Morrissey debuted as like a mercenary for Violent by Design. That was a one-off. So maybe he does approach something with Violent by Design, but then obviously doesn't go with them. He doesn't become part of them. Like maybe it's EY coming in when he cuts his promo debuting and says, the world belongs to us.
Yeah.
But you need something. You need a storyline to fill in that time before. Like if you're waiting on a tag team, obviously that's still a little whiles away. So you're gonna have to do something in the meantime to start establishing him, and then you're like, and here's my partner now.
Yeah. Yeah, that could certainly happen.
You know what? And Dead Punk Gage, good to see you back. That's a pretty good one. Like I wasn't thinking X Division at first, but Trey, I think that would be a decent fit. If Trey's not involved in like an X title picture. Because he's got the passion. And who knows, he could kind of follow in that vein of the passion.
This is true. And Macklin seems very focused, almost military-esque. It's hard to tell, what it is.
Yeah, and in the meantime, he could go against the Swingman and Hernandez. Something
like that, yeah. And for those of you who don't know, I brought this up during the watch along. One person who he cannot face anymore is Daivari, because Daivari.
Oh wait! Do we want to play the jingle, J-Bone?
Oh,
the people love the jingle, J-Bone.
Go ahead.
All right, we'll play the jingle. A little late in the show. That's why you got to stick around. You might get the jingle. Here we go.
Jiminy Christmas.
And now, filling in for Trey, this is Bill with J-Bo's News, coming to you live on TNI Squad podcast. Don't tell him, J-Bo.
Searching for my fake wrestling news.
That is funny. Thank you, Bill. So if you guys didn't see it already, I'll let you know. Daivari is no longer with Impact Wrestling. He has gone back to the WWE to be a producer. So we wish him well on all his future endeavors. I will say this. He looked like $1 million in the ring the few matches that we had him in. He absolutely did not stink up the joint. And I wish he stuck around for more, because it was great to have a guy like him to excuse me. Just you need someone for a match, to build up someone new. Perfect, an established veteran like that. But Daivari's gone.
Well, he seemed like he was definitely working the system while he was away, because he wasn't exclusive to Impact. Obviously, he was working MLW. I thought I had seen him heard he was down at NWA. Someone confirmed that earlier, so it seemed like he was definitely working almost everywhere in wrestling while he was gone. But obviously, he seems like a guy that was his. He almost never really left. And as stuff opening back up again, it seems like that's the case, where they're bringing some of these people back. So,
yeah, and hey, he's, I'm sure they're going to pay him well, and I'm just glad that Impact was able to use him for a while.
Yeah, well, and now the interesting thing is, I believe he was working with the X Division, so I guess it'll be, do they bring anyone else in for that, or does just some other hats kind of be moved around there at Impact and other people pick up the slack? We'll see. Because the X Division has been hot lately, as we've been saying.
Yeah, they have been. I would assume with Petey being around more, maybe you go to a veteran like that to help produce.
And that could make sense, because the timing-wise, Petey's become much more of a factor, but more on screen. That doesn't mean you can't do both.
Yeah.
And you do have some veterans. So you have Saban and company.
Yeah, that too. So, oh my goodness, what is my cat? What is my cat doing? She's just jumping all over the place, having a ball. All right, we continue. So next we got Rosemary versus Deonna Purrazzo. defending the Knockouts Championship. Oh, my allergies are starting to kick in. Elisa, kick us off with the your thoughts on the Knockouts match.
I thought this was a really good match. Deonna really went to town working on the weak points of Rosemary's arm and leg, especially when she ripped that leg brace off.
Oh, man.
Wow, it was pretty brutal, man. It's like normally Rosemary puts up quite a fight, and I feel like she lost control of this one relatively quickly. Wow, these two ladies really smacked it down, I'll say.
It told a good story, absolutely.
Yeah, always. Yeah. I mean, look at it. It's Deonna and Rosemary, so of course, storytelling, wrestling, it's all going to be on point.
Absolutely.
Period.
Period.
Oh, good.
Bill, what'd you think?
No, good match here. Deonna, obviously making her case, best female wrestler in the world. When we saw Rosemary, I guess, first get in the Venus de Milo, and she it looked like she was done, but then she does get to the ropes, so she's showing some strength there, good ring awareness, but then she kind of changes everything and goes after and gets rid of the knee brace, and I'm almost wondering, since she performs for a little bit after that, is that a sign? Because we've been noticing Rosemary been looking better and better in the ring lately. Does she not need the knee brace anymore? And was that goodbye knee brace? Are we seeing like a new Rosemary? We'll see. It feels like they're definitely after this. I don't think we're going to see her in the Knockouts title picture probably for a little bit, but it feels like the Knockouts tag titles is probably next on the horizon for Rosemary and the Hive. So we'll see. I think obviously Rosemary's a fixture in the Knockout programming. If there is a show coming, maybe pretty soon, she'd be a lead in that. So we'll see if it's going to be on TV or if the Build a Slammiversary is Fire and Flava versus Rosemary and Havoc. That's what it feels like. But definitely she, like after she hit that spear on Deonna, it's like, well, could it really happen? But then Deonna switched up because when's the last time she's not won a match by submission? She hits the pile driver.
Yeah, this is true, which just makes her even more of a badass because you never know what she's going to pull out.
Exactly. And that adding to the arsenal, we know right now she's scheduled to be in Triple Mania, and I believe title versus title there. So
that's in the middle of August. So
yeah. So that obviously be post Slammiversary, but she's still scheduled for that. So it just leaves some different flexibility for how she can win matches. Because that's the only thing. Like Kenny, as he's going around, he has a pin finisher. He doesn't have a submission finisher. When you're working with other companies, submission finishers, some companies I don't think would take kindly to having their people tap as much. Yeah. So I think having a finisher that's not a submission could help her if she's going to be a belt collector as well.
Yeah, she might be. I mean, man. Honestly, she can't go too many places and collect belts, but you never know what they have in store.
Well, they did mention about Britt Baker. They mentioned Britt Baker during this match.
Did they? I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I didn't catch that either, but I heard you mention it after. Yeah.
So they have not done that before. So because they were going back and forth on social media, and Josh, once again, that's why he's the GOAT. He's bringing a little something to it. Josh is bringing up that Twitter feud they're kind of talking about doing something together. So we'll see.
Well, they're always putting each other over.
Yeah.
So there's an absolute mutual respect there. I'm pretty sure they absolutely want to have the match. It's just where do you have it and how do you set it up? So, I don't think you have to build a ton of story behind it, just because it is so unique, but you should do a little something with it. So
yeah.
Just because one audience may not know who the other is. So But yeah, this was great. Really interesting how Deonna Purrazzo took Rosemary's brace off at the end there. That really changed the story and made it a lot more intense. Because it was like, oh, what are you gonna do with it? Are you gonna take it off and beat her with it, get a DQ finish? But that's really not Deonna Purrazzo's style. I mean, she's been beating girls pretty clean from what I remember lately, and pretty significantly too. So, but yeah, great match, told a great story. So yeah, we'll see what's next for both of them on the way to Slammiversary. Now, on to the main event.
Who booked this?
Yeah, well, it's quite a few people actually.
Traveling down to Jacksonville.
We're on the road.
Hey, Impact Wrestling. It's great to be here tonight.
We should say, hey, Tony Khan. It's great to be here tonight.
Yes. We all went to Daly's place for this one. Moose going to Daly's place, entering enemy territory. He truly was against all odds. Man, I don't know if you ever heard a title of a pay-per-view more significant than this in a while. My God. Man, he really was against all odds.
Bull crap.
Yeah, especially what happened to him. My God. Well, let's break this down. I was hoping, I think we all were hoping that Moose would get his classic entrance here. That's one thing I was really looking forward to, and just because it is a bigger venue, and hoping it would, just a bigger presence in general for Moose. And I was really happy with that. The start was great. Kenny, of course, coming out with Don Callis. You got Tony Schiavone, Scott D'Amore on commentary.
Wish I'd thought of that.
Yeah, you could have if you could have, but well, I won't go there yet. So yeah, but I will say, I will say I did enjoy the match. Okay, so Buckshot Kid says, love the main event, but the AEW crowd ruined the match for me. It made me like zero fans. Yeah, they had a bunch of like Cody Rhodes students, a bunch of the lower card guys out there. And so, I mean, I appreciated it for what it was. It did feel awkward at times because, I mean, they were rooting for someone that wasn't even on their roster. Okay, that's number one. So, I mean, yeah, so Moose was the babyface here, which was also unique. Kenny, of course, is the heel. So you'd think the hometown crew would, cheer the hometown guy, but that's not the way it was here.
Well, I don't think they wanted us to think that either. I think because they never point out ever that these are wrestlers. They wanted to make it feel like, oh, that they're random Jacksonville people. They're Florida people. Just they roamed in and stumbled upon a wrestling match.
Yeah. They're just driving past.
Hey, just passing through.
It's like the old Impact Zone at Universal Studios. It's like, it's hot outside. What's going on in this? What's going on in here?
What's going on in this air conditioning?
What's this Impact Zone? So yeah, the Impact Zone moved over to Daly's place, and we got a temporary Impact Zone here. I did enjoy the match. I know, Bill, you said during the watch along that you felt like the beginning of the match felt what's that word? Wonky.
Yeah, it was slow. It was a slow build. I know Truck, our good friend, was in the reaction show as well, and at one point he jumped into our Discord in the description. Obviously, jump on there because there's always stuff going on. But he's like, I don't want to put words in Truck's mouth, but he's like, "Is this match bad?" And it's like, up until that point, it's like, I'm like, say it, because you weren't 100% wrong. I think the beginning of this match, for whatever reason, because when they've been in multi-man matches together and got into the ring together, they looked pretty good. But were they doing certain spots, combos? Yes, because of their multi-man matches. So to start, it was definitely an awkward start. And we should also address Moose comes out all bandaged up on his shoulder, selling some shoulder injury that I don't think ever happened on TV.
Yeah, his shoulders all taped up with the what do you call that kind of tape?
Athletic tape? Compression tape? I don't know. It's some kind of medical term.
I forget.
Maybe he's not injured. He just did it as preparation, because a lot of them use it as a means to like relieve, just in case.
Could be. Could be.
It's like a protectant in a way.
Yeah,
and maybe because he knew the type of match he was going to work with Kenny Omega, that he would take a lot of abuse there. So maybe it was proactive. Oh, and there we go, Bell's boy. Yeah, there, KT keto tape.
Yeah, the keto, whatever. Yeah. Potato.
Yep.
But yeah, so that, and I don't know if that was, so yeah, I mean, hopefully he's fine. I have not heard anything. And it could have been just to help tell a story better, limb work, pick a limb, work on it. Great, easy storytelling.
Yeah.
Now I missed this comment if they said it, but it sounds like they were selling it from the Sami match. Commentary said it was from the Sami match.
Oh, okay. All right. I'd have to go back and see.
I didn't pay attention to the commentary.
Yeah, and I will say this, and this is another thing. Couple things. The fans were a big distraction during this match, because and that's been my whole thing with a lot of the AEW until they brought people back, was I wasn't a fan of piped in chants, but give me a piped in chant over these wrestlers not knowing what and when to chant and being all over the place. It just feels so live audience forced. It kills it. So there was that aspect. The other one, not the best. Like, this group did not work on announce. Scott D'Amore, very good color guy. When he's done the Impact Plus specials, very good. Don, I think, is one of the best color men in the business. Fantastic. Tony,
Oh, Tony was in that group as well?
Tony Schiavone was not Tony... Not Tony Khan. Tony Schiavone. He was the
Tony's.
Yeah. Tony.
Tony
Good
Baloney.
group.
Jesus
back
Christ.
From the 90s. Tony. Not here. And I don't know, like, him on lead, maybe it's okay for YouTube, but on a pay-per-view, he wasn't cutting the mustard here. And I'll give him credit. He was relying on the two color men to do a lot. So he was just calling moves for the most part and having them fill the air. But Scott and Don, I felt like they were just talking over each other half the time. Like they didn't mix well together. And then Tony, obviously, he's maybe in like 1987 he was good, but not now. So they weren't adding a lot to the match. And at one point, Tony, all he knows how to do is to go into AEW commercial mode. And for like 2 minutes, he just talked about, and coming up on Dynamite. Like, it's what? This is you're a main event for Impact Wrestling, and I'm hearing about Jungle Boy getting a title shot? Are you kidding me?
It's because they didn't get a commercial in, so yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Well, it's...
Come on, man.
I'm gonna let I'm gonna let this match go on in this great place, and for letting you guys do that, you gotta, put over the next AEW Dynamite for a couple seconds.
If it turns into something else, like Impact does a show there, or there really is a joint show there at some point, then maybe it made sense. But it just seemed like so disconnected from the rest of the show.
I agree.
I hear you there, and I didn't even notice Tony say that because, like I said, I was listening to the commentary half the time. It was between the commentary, the match, and the fans. Some stuff was real distracting, but overall, I felt like the match was okay.
Yeah,
it wasn't like the best match that I think they could have done, but I know Kenny is working banged up, which I think slowed it down a little bit.
I remember hearing about that. Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah, and if you looked at him, he's got the
cupping bruises and
the
all
cupping,
that.
yeah. So yeah. I mean, I believe that. I believe that there's something going on there. So then let's go on to what happened at the end.
Oh, jeez.
Now this is everything else is debatable until you get to this.
So
I wouldn't know.
This is not debatable at the end of this.
I was happy to see the Young Bucks. I kind of assumed we were going to get something like that because, of course, you took the Good Brothers out of the match. You took them out of the situation. Scott, you put them in a match so that they wouldn't be interfering with Kenny. But you also allowed the match to take place in enemy territory. And the Good Brothers are not the only tag team who is associated with the world champ. Enter the Young Bucks.
Well, I will give credit. Now, I didn't even notice this because you really have to listen and look. So when we were doing the reaction, it was not easy to pick up. But Garrett Kidney and then Impact retweeted it. He put the video up, and Matt, or as I'll call him, Max Buck. He actually says Max and Jeremy Buck are back or something like that. He says,
yeah.
So I will give credit to go back to Generation Me because that's how they should, because that's obviously what they were in TNA. So at least they did go Gen Me, which I appreciate that. And it seems like that was the only way to get, I guess, some of these names to show up. The whole crossover everyone's been asking for this whole time was to be there to do it in some form was the only way it was going to happen. Like, too bad Rich Swann during that angle. This didn't happen back then. Like, I don't know now. Is it too little too late, or can it evolve from here? Like, that's the one okay thing about this. You get you get Gen Me involved. Obviously, you get Sami involved. So that obviously opens the door to Moxley with the Sami connection. So are you now opening these doors up to maybe make Slammiversary even bigger?
I think it certainly opens the door to Generation Me, Young Bucks doing something at Slammiversary. What? I'm not sure. Like Team Impact versus Team AEW. Good Brothers and Young Bucks versus, I don't know. Or is it more Scott D'Amore, Team Scott D'Amore
Team Callis
versus Team Callis? Because Callis, what he does at the end here, after the Young Bucks take out Moose with the V-Triggers, it's the exact same way that they took out Mox. Because Mox is written off TV now, indefinitely.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, because Renee's about to have a baby. So.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
So would I love to see that? Yeah. which is also probably why another reason why Cardona jumped in the whole Nick Gage thing in the Indies, because Renee probably put her foot down and said, "Look, how long are you going to do this with Nick? I'm about to have a baby. It's, I can't have you. We can't have hamburger meat daddy running around the house."
That's what you get when you deal with the king. It's MDK
all day.
It's a kid show when it's just us here, J-Bone and Alicia.
Yeah. So yeah, it certainly could be a team AEW, Team Callis versus Team Impact, Scott D'Amore. Who knows?
Or, as the TNI curse says, which I love the logo for the TNI curse, could it be Team Elite?
Oh, the Elite, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's what they call themselves, yeah. So they've strayed away from Bullet Club for, that's a no-brainer. I was kind of waiting for that to happen.
They reference it on Impact, though, Bullet Club, a lot. Because
once in a while.
Maybe more because of the New Japan stuff.
Yeah, that's just the relationship that's blossoming now. So Callis gets down to the ring, or I should say he starts heading down to the ring once Sami shows up. Look at this dumbass. Yeah, exactly. He shows up, he ICUs himself into the ring from Daly's place. I mean, man, we all talk about this, the undead realm and all this stuff. Man, I'm starting to wonder if we should be talking more about the ICU thing more.
Although, even before this happens, though, J-Bone, we got to talk the immediate reaction of Coach Scott D'Amore on commentary. He's yelling, "This is bullshit! Bullshit!" He's freaking out, man. So, at the ending, once it's Hebner, 1, 2, 3, he's not happy about this. And we saw. Well, here's the big thing. And I keep bringing it up. I'm going to keep bringing it up. Sami Callihan, Slammiversary main event after a DQ. What just happened to the Moose? How's he not inserted into that main event after what happened here?
Yeah. It's starting to look like a throughway.
It's pretty much got to be.
Yeah.
Which you could say that's what it felt like it had to be once they made this against all odds main event. It's like no one's going to be happy unless they're all in there at Slammiversary.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, now we're to ICU.
Yeah. So Callahan comes in. Don Callis runs down to the ring. "I'm going to pull an an EVP thing here. I'm an EVP. I can make these decisions, blah, 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 blah. You're fired."
Oh.
Well, it's better than saying,
"I have seen that penis."
Yeah, well, certainly. So he fires Sami Callihan. Scott D'Amore jumps off a commentary as well then, chases him up the ramp, or, towards the tunnel. Sami Callihan is visibly upset in the ring, cursing, "This is bullshit." And that's where the pay-per-view ends. Now, where did it cut off for you, Alicia?
Just as soon as Callis said you're fired.
Okay. So you're okay. So
I
you
didn't miss much, but
No.
I thought I did because I'm like, what the hell? It's just dead air. Like,
right, because you didn't know how much longer it was going to go to the top of the hour or what. But no, you didn't miss much. All you missed was Scott D'Amore running off of commentary, chasing.
Bringing Don back through the tunnel.
Yeah, like, what did you do? Yelling at, waving his arms. What did you do? And then the reaction from Callahan getting fired. So,
which was not obviously not addressed. Like, he didn't say, "Well, no, you can't fire." Like, that wasn't addressed, any of that. So our leaving of this is Sami is fired. From what we saw.
For now, we're just going.
So how's he in the main event if he's fired? Because he's not.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry about your damn luck.
Sorry, I feel like that's going to backfire on Don on Thursday.
I think that's
like, yeah, about that.
Now, for anybody that did watch Invicta on Friday night, they did play a commercial. I don't think Impact's released it yet, but it was a commercial for Thursday, and we kind of have an idea of what's going to possibly be happening because I believe it's an Anthem. A high-ranking Anthem official is going to be showing up on Thursday. I think we can let that cat out of the bag. I'm sure that commercial is going to air sometime over the next day.
Right. Yeah.
For reals.
It aired last night. Someone on Twitter noticed it, but it didn't catch any fire. No other dirt sheets caught it, so not a lot of people saw it. So that's good. Because it really kind of spoiled. It didn't spoil the ending of this pay-per-view, but
had me going.
Yeah, it's like, well, what the heck?
What?
Yeah, we won't get into the other stuff in there, but at least that one, because that's at least we know what's going to be addressed.
Yeah. So, but Alicia, your thoughts on everything in the main event?
Again, I feel like every time it comes down to it, I was really rooting for Moose in this, and
I was too. You're not the only one.
I don't know anymore. What is life? I'm having an existential crisis in regards to what they're doing with this man.
Well, yeah, because it really begs the question, because you heard all the, back and forth online, is he re-signed? Is he not? And the result of this pay-per-view was going to weigh heavily on that. So,
it weighs heavily on me. I'll tell you that much, because I just don't know anymore.
Bill, any final notes?
Yeah, we do know, obviously, it was no secret. Moose was coming up on free agency. It went back and forth on yes or no if he resigned, depending on what you want to believe. It seems like he may have, but we don't know that for sure. So this ending could play a part in that. It kind of was all over the place. Obviously, we'll learn a lot on Thursday on where they're going with Moose, because as of now, Sami was booked in the main event. He was fired by Don Gallows. We're all pretty sure that's not going to stick. But where does that play with Moose right now? And are they playing off? Is there a Moose injury angle? Because we didn't think much of it, but they were hinting that he was already hurt in the match with Sami. And then after the beatdown, if you won, obviously in AEW land, Jon Moxley's out for, I guess, months because of a Generation Me beatdown. So I don't know if that'd be the same here. But Moose is a big guy. I doubt he'd be off his feet that long. So, we'll see. Obviously, I was not a huge fan of the ending of this. I do like that maybe it gets some more faces. That will draw interest. If you get more buys and people talking about Slammiversary, that's a good thing. If there is more AEW connections, that's probably a good thing as well. So I see that. I think justice for Moose. # justice for Moose.
Appropriate.
It feels like he should be world champion. And when this match was happening at Against All Odds instead of Slammiversary, it's kind of like the writing was on the wall that it wasn't going to happen. It still could happen at Slammiversary. We'll see. I'll hold my final decision until probably this Thursday. But we'll see. If it's Moose leaving, and I don't think that's what it is, but if it were to be that, it would be just a huge missed opportunity that will go on for. We'll talk about. I'll mention probably every show for a while. But we'll see. My hope is that's not the case. And they still, if anything, it's going to be what you would expect. Like Kenny, whenever he loses the title, probably won't even get pinned for the title. It'll probably be a multi-man match, and he'll he'll look very good during all this, where he never even got pinned by an Impact wrestler, which isn't shocking. But if you're getting a wrestler like that, I guess you can't expect it. But I know a lot of Impact fans will not be happy. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But it was a completely Dusty finish. So here's to you, Dusty.
Yeah. He's cheering somewhere, right? But yeah, we just got to wait and see what the build to Slammiversary is now. It looks like it's going to be a good story. We'll just have to wait and see, how everybody fits in, where. So, all right. So we're going to get out of here. It is late. I've been sitting here a long time, as you have also been, Bill. And I'm sure I don't want to get this too late for Alicia either. So we're going to get out of here. Actually, no, it's just my allergies. I feel like shit. I'm going to get out of here.
I feel you on that.
So let's do the socials and let's jump ship.
Alicia, kick us off. Alicia, kick us off.
I'll kick us off. All right. So you can find me right down here on Alicia B. Cakey at only Instagram and Twitter. Nothing else. No more.
All right.
That's it. That's all you get.
Bill.
You can find me on Twitter. Same thing. Twitter and the Instagram, the infamous Instagram. At my name, William M. Gardner, Gardner. Plenty of pictures that will at some point be uploaded. I'm trying to get them all, so it's a lot to go through. So
thousands.
Yeah, this one of these days, his Instagram is just going to explode with like 1,500 pictures.
I'll be like, go through them. I'll go through them. You guys go through them every day. You look at them, and then you tell me all about it. Everyone thinks this stuff's easy.
Just do like 6 dozen a week. Easy. So, and for me, you can find me at JBone5150, host of Smash This Podcast, co-host, of course, of TNI, wherever you're watching. Thank you very much for joining tonight. This was a big show. Great card. We are officially on the road to Slammiversary. Thanks for joining. And yes, as far as the rest of the socials, you can get those down in the description. Jump into Discord. The Patreon's brand new. We'll be doing the Sunday dinner tomorrow night. Thank you, Bell's Boy, for bringing that up. And I don't know who's all going to be in for that. I think Trent's going to be back. He was just way too wrestle. He just had enough of the wrestling for 24 hours. So it sounds like he's going to be back. Hopefully Marcus too. And we'll talk. We'll probably get everyone else's opinions then on the pay-per-view as part of the Sunday dinner, along with some other stuff. So
yeah, and what I'm hearing, because we touched on it earlier about the issues with Impact Plus. Somebody said it might be on the free version of Impact Plus right now, so you might be able to watch the whole show even if you don't have the paid version. So definitely check out Impact Plus. If you didn't see the show or had issues with the show, you might be able to see it now. But if for some reason you don't have the pay version, once again, sign up for it. Promo code Against All Odds. First 2 months are free.
Oh.
So it'd be silly not to have the paid version of Impact Plus.
There you go.
And don't forget, support the brand, Pro Wrestling Tees. Get the new Al and Mike shirt as well. So do that.
There you go. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight. We'll see y'all who are in the Patreon tomorrow night for the Sunday dinner. As far as Smash This Podcast, I'm hoping to get another show out within the next day or two and keep the ball rolling into this week. So we'll see y'all mañana and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care, folks. Much love.